The Earth needs to talk about this.
The Earth is dying. Climate change. This problem is worldwide. Sudden change of weather has been a problem around the world. The long-term changes in the climate that occurs over decades, centuries or longer. It is caused by rapidly increasing greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere due to primarily the burning of fossil fuels.
Folks, this is Kate and you are watching Nemo Philist. Today, we interviewed 5 countries to share how they cope and help solve the problem on global warming or the climate change in general.
Konnichiwa, watashi no namae wa JC Jaurigo desu. As we know, Japan has a total climate risk index of 5.5. Heavy rains, heat waves, the Osaka earthquake, and Jebi typhoon, which ravaged Japan in 2018, made it the most threatened country in the world by climate change. Also, the weather events were responsible for 1,282 deaths on the island and 1.01 per 100,000 inhabitants, as well as $35,839 million in economic losses and a 0.64% drop in per capita gross domestic product. As time passes, Japan's climate change and weather patterns are affected and still being affected. There is an increase in the likelihood of more intense and frequent extreme weather events, such as storms, droughts, and floods, which will almost certainly have a severe impact on Japan's economy. Over the last century, Japan's mean annual temperature has risen by 1 degree Celsius. Furthermore, the number of hot days with a maximum temperature greater than 35 degrees Celsius has increased. In addition, average winter temperature in Hokkaido have climbed by 1.3 degrees Celsius during the last century. As frost frequency and the number of days with freezing temperatures have decreased, the number of days with heavy precipitation and days with no precipitation has increased, resulting in significant reduction in snowfall, but increase in the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events like heavy rains. To demonstrate how I can contribute to reducing the carbon footprint for our daily practices, we should and must reduce greenhouse gas emissions, reduce renewable energy, use sustainable transportation, plant trees and restore nature, protect the ocean and ocean life, reduce plastic and food consumption, avoid leaving things turned on when not used, turn off the water when not in use, close the fridge door quickly after you get what you need, turn off the faucet when not in use washable drinking cups instead of disposables, turn off computers and laptops when not in use, reuse envelopes and folders, use reclaimed and recycled paper to print. When not in use, unplug the charger and phone. Don't warm up cars or let them idle for long periods of time because they might stop working. And some parts may stop working. Shut off any electronic appliances when not in use. Buy local products made from recycled materials. Buy a useful item that you can use. Donate or recycle used things or appliances. Lastly, when on a journey, keep your tires properly inflated.
Cumprimentos a todos, mi nome é Cash e sou moradora do Brasil. Our once rich and beautiful country is gradually transforming into a savanna. It is currently on the verge of drought and excessive heat. One of the most important factors is that Brazil and the majority of South American countries rely heavily on the Amazon forest. Climate change occurs in Brazil due to excessive deforestation. If deforestation exceeds the extent, the wilderness may be unable to create sufficient downpours to sustain itself, causing wildfires and biodiversity loss. We cannot allow our beautiful Brazilian highlands and long rivers to degrade into savanna. Even though I will be the sole participant in this activity, I believe that one person can make a difference. I will contribute positively to reduce climate change. Here are the small contribution I can make as a concerned Brazilian who wishes to preserve our beautiful country. I plan to plant as many trees as possible, and instead of driving or taking other forms of gas-powered transportation, I will ride my bike or walk home. If I cannot avoid using transportation, I will only go out twice a week to reduce gas emissions. I will speak out to educate people about the environmental damage that certain industries cause. For example, large industries in Brazil such as the soybean industry cut down far too many trees to produce soybean. If a large number of people are unaware of the danger, the industry will continue. I will use less water and conserve energy. Since Brazil is a tropical country, I will also encourage my family to use solar power lights and any appliances that can be powered by solar power.
Hola, mi nombre es Jan Paul Afable y bienvenido a Costa Rica. Hello, my name is Jan Paul Afable and welcome to Costa Rica. It's a country known for its huge rainforests, flowing waterfalls, volcanoes, howler monkeys, chattering birds, and friendly people, but there's so much more to see. Costa Rica hopes to have 100% renewable electricity by 2021. It's already very close for the fourth year in a row. It generated 98% of its electricity from renewable sources, mainly from hydropower. For transportation, Costa Rica's goal is for 70% of buses and taxis to have zero emissions by 2035, and for the train to be 100% electricity. Furthermore, Costa Rica extended an oil production and exploitation moratorium from 2021 until the end of 2050 in February 2019. Costa Rica has been running totally on renewable energy for several years, averaging roughly 300 days per year. This means that the government uses no oil, coal, or natural gas to power the country. Wow, now that's what you call good governance. Okay, enough about the government. Let us now discuss how we may assist as individuals. It's a light switch. I turn it off. Easy, right? Now you can save energy at home. Coal, oil, and gas provide the majority of our electricity and heat. Cars provide around 1/5 of all carbon emissions, emitting more than 24 pounds of carbon dioxide and other global warming gases each gallon of gas. If your destination is nearby, why not ride your bike or take the public transportation? This will be really beneficial to the environment. Very simple, right? Next, let's see what else the future holds for Costa Rica. Costa Rica has always prioritized environmental sustainability, and they are working hard to preserve it that way in the future. Here's what you can expect. Costa Rica is now building 3 50 megawatts geothermal power stations at $954 million. This is not a cheap investment, especially for a small country ranked 15th in GDP. However, the government is capitalizing on its dozen volcanoes and investing in the future by demonstrating to the world that it supports environmental sustainability. That's it for our country. Let's hear what the next country has to say on how to reduce our carbon footprint.
Hello, I'm Michaela and I live here in Canada, the second largest country in the world in terms of landmass. Recently, our nation has been experiencing a higher rate of warming than most other regions of the world, particularly in its far north and west. This warming has been most pronounced in the winter and springtime, and it's leading to a number of major impacts across our country. These include increased rainfall, rising sea levels, along with permafrost and ice melt in the Arctic, ocean acidification, increase in forest fires, and more frequent and severe extreme weather, such as once uncommon heat extremes and major changes in precipitation. And all of these are expected to become increasingly evident over the next century. In our big cold country on the upper half of North America, the environment impacts where Canadians live, how we work, and how we see our future. Canadians, including myself, are focused and determined on achieving a cleaner and more sustainable future. As an individual, I take part in stopping climate change through my simple and little ways. First of all, in transportation. Instead of using private vehicles as a mode of transportation, I opt for walking, using bicycles, or taking mass transit more often. Another, by saving energy at home since much of our electricity and heat is powered by coal, oil, and gas. Also by eating less meat, since meat and dairy production is responsible for at least 14% of global climate changing emissions. Lastly, by encouraging other people to take part in stopping climate change. Certainly, one action alone cannot combat climate change, but with a unifying force and movement, we can make a difference. We can't and should not remain silent in the fight against climate crisis. I want to encourage everyone from different parts of the world to not be part of the problem, rather be part of the solution.
Hi, I'm Ellie, and I'm from Australia. Right now, our country is dealing with a massive crisis caused by climate change. Climate change is generating higher temperatures, more severe droughts, fire seasons and flooding, and more extreme weather here in Australia. Rising sea levels exacerbate the severity of high sea level events, putting homes and infrastructure at risk. The number of days breaking heat records has more than doubled in the last 50 years. My fellow Aussies are all concerned about these significant issues. We cannot allow climate change to devastate our country, so we decided by bringing together our diverse skills, resources, and knowledge and aligning public and private efforts, we can achieve a level of impact that we could not achieve alone. As an Aussie, I want to help address this enormous problem in my own little ways.
The first one is I use public transport to get to work and leisure activities instead of a private car to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and carbon dioxide with public transit. Second is power off. Even when not in use, household electronics such as computers, televisions, and other appliances require electricity. One of the simplest methods to save electricity and money is to turn off household equipment at the power outlet. Third is I invest in solar panels because meeting our energy demands with renewable energy is the most effective option for the climate crisis. Solar panels will not only reduce my carbon footprint, but they will also reduce my electricity bill.
Here in Australia, we are aiming to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 by taking the lead on climate change.